Recent political developments in the Netherlands. A new coalition government has been formed by a group of right-wing parties spearheaded by Geert Wilders Party for Freedom PVV. I'm here with Scarlett Karolieva, host and reporter for Riks Europe, and from the Netherlands, I should mention. Welcome.
Thank you.
So what do you think are the main challenges faced by Geert Wilders and his Party for Freedom PVV in forming a coalition government?
Well, I think it's first and foremost important for people to know that we don't have a government yet. So we have a coalition. We will have a government as soon as they are going to announce the new ministers. So we still have to wait a little bit. But the coalition, the formation of the coalition was quite a challenge, you can say indeed. I think the biggest challenge for Geert Wilders was himself. There are currently four parties in the coalition. So you have the party of Geert Wilders, we have the former party VVD van Mark Rutte, we have a new party called Nieuw Sociaal Contract, and then of course we have the Farmers Party. Two of those parties actually said we do not want to form a coalition if Geert Wilders will become prime minister. So he was forced to give up that position. And then the second challenge, I think, is also the finances. The finances weren't left in very good health, to say it the least. So this is one of the reasons why it took a long time for them to form a coalition, because they couldn't find a consensus.
And you mentioned this, given that Geert Wilders would not serve as prime minister, who is expected to take on that role?
I think this is $1 million question that everyone is asking at the moment. The weird thing is that we do not know. We simply do not know yet. There has been some rumors that it will be Plasterk, who was also an informateur at forming this coalition. He has been a former minister actually for welfare, health, and culture. He has a very good record, and I mean, obviously, they know him pretty well after 6 months of negotiations, so he would become an obvious choice. The rumor now, however, is that Omtzigt, one of the leaders of the parties of the coalition, is not really fully convinced to let him have this position. So it's going to be a surprise for all of us, I think.
And what are your views on that the Netherlands vows to opt out of EU rules to introduce the strictest ever asylum policy?
Well, what I would like to begin with is that, yes, indeed, it's a very strict asylum policy, but it's not as strict as they promised initially. Like, the promise was that we're going to have an asylum stop, there would be stricter border control. None of that will be happening. However, I do think it's a really good thing that they're claiming back the sovereignty. For way too long, Brussels had the power to delegate us how many asylums we should take, and I think it's good that they're going for an opt-out option.
And what do you think are the potential impacts that a new right-wing coalition government could have on the Netherlands' domestic and international policies, but also things like the Green Deal?
Well, I think we can conclude by so far reading the coalition agreement that the Green Deal is off the table. For example, farmers will no longer be forced to cut in their livestock. There will be no more expropriation, so that means that the government will not buy out any more farmers. We will go invest in nuclear energy, and people will no longer be forced to have a heat pump. Also, the nitrogen debate is now off the table. We're going to reassess the Natura 2000 areas. So this is really setting the Netherlands moving towards a new direction compared to the liberal policies that we've had for the past decades. And I think it's going to be very influential for the rest of Europe, especially given the fact that now we have European elections coming up. It will set a precedent for the rest of Europe.
Thank you, Scarlett Karolieva, host and reporter for Riks Europe.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Riks Europe.